I don't know what societal rock I've been hiding under, but I was actually unaware that this was even a thing. I have so many questions, but there's probably literally no answers to any of the questions. I don't understand the whole idea of it. Almost makes it seem as if, and I'm sure that it's the media that is complicating the issue, but it's almost as if men want to be women solely for the purpose of playing women's sports, because it seems as if a man who wants to play women's sports thinks they're athletic, just not enough to play with other men or boys. Is the spirit to win so driving that they would have to cheat? I also, after doing a little research, have seen that it's not women who turn to men or girls that turn to boys that want to play male sports. Now, I'm not saying there isn't even just one in the exclusion of all transsexuals, but that's not what you see. And I think that what that also does is it draws a very stark contrasted line between the character of men. Some men. You mean to tell me some men want to identify as a woman so that they can be, so that they can perform on a higher level than a woman or a girl and be the winner that they can't be as a man in men's sports or in boy sports? The whole thing is, I mean, and it's a crazy issue, evidently, right? The whole man wanting to be a woman and then exploiting the right to use a female bathroom. Again, not with the exclusion of all men who or women who want to be men so that they can use a man's bathroom, and I'm also not saying that that is the driving force. However, with some amount of these people, they want to be gendered as a woman so that they can play women's sports and have the athletic edge. Because let's be real, if there were not an athletic edge for a man transitioning to a woman to play women's sports, it would be perfectly legal, and that it would not have to go any higher than, I don't know, the school board, and that the government has to get involved. Like, the whole thing is, I just have a hard time understanding the logic. And I think that's part of the issue, is that the logic is, most people are incapable of understanding this logic. And again, I think the bottom line for me is that it says something about a group of males, biological males, who want to play women's sports. Is it to punish girls or women because of how you feel about yourself? I don't know. I know that this is a very controversial topic, right? But I think that the underlying issue, or the comorbidity that comes along with it, is that that's the government saying, yeah, you can identify as a woman to yourself, But silently, or not even silently, because this is a huge deal today, silently to yourself, you can identify, and to the rest of us, because we even have places like Canada where if you misgender someone, you could be punitively, and they could give you a ticket. It's like a low, but here in America, it's different, clearly. But I just I cannot understand the logic of it, right? And I am so incapable of understanding the logic of it and how it got to such a level where it had to be voted out. Now, as I understand it, the tally was 6 votes to 3. So 50% of the people who had the power to vote on this situation thought it would be a good idea, right? Now, what's also interesting about it is in my research, I have found some biological women, for instance, that want to do MMA against men. There's a handful of them that whip up on a man. And then the rest of them are sort of like a very toxic master class on how at least men in the MMA community are much stronger. The athletic ability is so much, the gap is so far that the women don't stand a chance, right? So you're not seeing it the other way, though, and I think that also that plays into a woman's character, right? It's not widespread that girls want to transition to boys so that they can be boxers or play football. It's more men who want to transition to women or girls that want to play volleyball. They want to play basketball. They want to run track, whatever the sport is. But it's not so that they can transition and be a standout in men's sports. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I guess that's one of the silver linings of the whole argument for someone, is that this doesn't have to be a scenario you understand. It just is a scenario that is, right? And then my camera cut off. Before that, this is America saying, hey, you can change your driver's license, or you can change how you identify on paperwork. However, to us, the government, you're not actually reclassified, right? Because the government is saying this is males transitioning to females, and we're not going to allow them to play sports. It's because of the athletic edge, or the presumptive athletic edge that even a male who transitions to a woman would have. I don't know. I'm twisting my mind all up. Anyways, be nice in the comments. This isn't a bash or anything like that. It's just me trying to figure out how this is a thing. Anyways, have a great day.